From child brides to chain makers, from teen moms to trailblazers, from silence after rape to speeches that shake nations, from forgotten names to forces of history. She rolls beyond trauma, past mistakes, and everything meant to break her. This is the Beyond Her Odds Show. Real stories that inspire you to rise, to heal, to lead. Because if she did, so can you.
And welcome to Beyond Her Odds Show with Raquel Kisham Daniel. Everyone calls me RKD. And as usual, I'm here with another guest for Beyond Her Odds. And it's been an exciting journey. This is our 11th episode. Wow, we've been on the show 12 times, but this is our 11th episode. And we're gradually coming to the end. Well, not the end, but end of this season, really. Before I introduce my guest, I'd like to just do like a quick rundown of what Beyond Her Odds Show is about for those who are listening for the first time. Beyond Her Odds Show is simply about using our story, bringing on women with stories to inspire girls and the next generation of girls to do better in life and to also go beyond their own odds. And we've had amazing women on the show. We've had women who have been abused as young girls, but have come out of it and become a beacon of light to other women. And to girls also, we've had women a woman who had come on the show who was divorced 7 months into her marriage. But you see her now, like we always say on the show, she doesn't look like where she has been. And she's thriving. We've had someone who battled with self-esteem for a very long time, and that led her into a lot of different addiction, and it was really bad, but that led her to a very dark part. But today she's helping others to really live again. And we also have had another guest who battled with substance abuse, lost 13 years of her life, but today she's glowing and she's a healer, helping other people to heal from substance abuse, and she's doing an amazing job. Different stories, different women, but all going to the same path, inspiring girls to do better and to do more with their life. And this week, I have yet another guest on the show. It's not easy to go down memory lane. We've had so many guests sit on this chair where you're sitting, and we've seen people who thought I would not cry. We're almost close to tears. And I get ready in my eye, you say you're not going to cry. Because we've gone past crying. Like I say to everyone that comes on the show, we are here now to take a lesson from your story, to see what can we do with the story. How can that story inspire another young girl who is probably in the same situation that you are now, that you were, and she's currently in the situation now, and then she's saying, I don't know what to do in my life, and then she stumbles on the show. My guest is Aderonke. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you. You're our 11th guest. Woo!
Wow. 11 is my lucky number.
Well, yeah.
On the 11th of December.
You see? So 11 is a lucky number. So yeah. Great. I'm happy to hear that because it's not a coincidence that you're sitting on the chair. You were supposed to be here for the 11th episode. So thank you for coming here.
Thank you.
And so now we want to hear your story. I posted it on social media, and I was just reading it myself and I was thinking, people don't really look like what they've been. Look at you not thriving, you're a mom, you have a non-profit, and you have a health initiative, you also have a full-time job, and so you do all that. You're mentoring a lot of teenagers and young women in the social space, and you're doing all that, and you're still evolving, you're still growing, you're still becoming, and it's not by accident that you got here. You did something to get you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get there to know how you came out of everything that happened to you to where you are now. But before we go, we want to have a little background about yourself, like background about your family. A few people have come on the show talk to us that they have very good background, and which is good. So it's not always a bad one. So you can try to share with us the good one. We'd love to hear that one. It just gives us context into how you got to where you went.
So excited to be here. Thank you, RKD, for the opportunity. Okay, so about me, where will I start from? I'll start from the fact that I'm the first child of 3 kids from my mom, and my mom had me quite early. I think she was 20 when she had me, right? And then she went to university. So I was actually raised a bit by my grandmom and my auntie. So my mom just comes in, during halls to check up on me and all of that, take me to school sometimes to university. And so I knew my extended family more. But again, I know that whenever my mom comes back, I go to my dad, so we are in our family house. Okay, so the earliest I can remember was my parents living together, just living the good life. My mom had finished university as at that time, and I had my siblings already, and then we were together, just nuclear family. I knew that I had other siblings that were not for my mom.
At what age did you know that?
I think at age 7 or 8, thereabout, I knew because I do see their pictures in my dad's office then. So I knew them by pictures. I did not have any interaction with them. In fact, I actually got to meet them physically every my wedding.
No.
Yes, that was like over 20 something years. And we were like all in the same community, but we just never met. So I knew them by face then, and we, like I said, in the same community, attending different schools, we never met. Although in secondary school, some people were like, "Oh, this surname, okay, I have somebody in my school." I said, "Oh yeah, he's my brother." I never knew. Okay. I never knew her. So it was just like that. So, but coming to how my parents separated, really, I just knew that particular year in April, that was 2019, 2000, yes, 2000. My brother was just in year, and then year 1 month, and my mom was like, "We are leaving," and I was like, "Leaving? This is April 1." So I thought it was April Fool. So how to, she just packing and everything, and we had to leave, like we have to go before your dad. I was like, "What's happening?" But I had to just do what she said, and we moved to my grandma's. As at that time, my grandma got evicted from her house, so we all were stranded, sort of.
Oh,
We just had to build like a shed. The northern people call it bachelor. Yeah, so we had to build a bachelor, in a dust, in a land, on a land, and the land was like a former refuse dump. So we still have refuse, and that black shop everywhere. So we just had to move there. Like, so supposed like a makeshift before my mom figures out what she wants to do, how we move forward. But that makeshift we were there for like 3 years. Yeah.
So you moved from one day you were living in the comfort of your home with your dad, your mom, your siblings,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden one decision to just say let's move, just altered everything.
Everything.
And how old were you at the time? That exactly.
I was around 7 to 8 years. Yes, about 7 to 8 years. I wasn't up to 9 because I was in primary 4.
Wow,
Then,
you're so young.
Yes, so I think I was about 8 years then. So we're in a comfortable 2-bedroom apartment, in a very good neighborhood. And then, I remember that time we don't even talk to our neighbors like these people are proper children. We don't speak Yoruba at that time. Like we were like these two children. We were going to very good school. And so when we moved to that place, it was like east and west.
I can imagine.
And I was just always indoors because who will I talk to? They were even being victimized because we don't speak the native languages at that time. And so the other children, all these rust, they were running around with pants. We were this prim and proper, and they were like always laughing at us that look at these ones, let this one for their chickens. They call it Yoruba, like these ones are chicken children and all of that. And the way we were so prim and proper and so comfort. But that was the beginning for me. I realized okay, this is not my reality, and of course I thought that it was going to be like it's a makeshift, like let's just be here for, like maybe 1 or 2 months, then we move out and all of that.
But then that's not your fault.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to stop for us to really unpack a bit. For parents make decisions like we had 2 weeks ago, talk to Mrs. Smile at the beginning. And a similar situation that you just mentioned. Her dad just said, her mom was the one that was the career person that was earning. He was a business person and he wasn't earning as much. But still, he just felt like the burden was too much for his life. So out of the love and care for his wife, he just thought, let's move. Let's go to my own house. One paying rent here. My wife is stressing so much. So it was a good decision to move to your house, but your house was uncompleted. So you just you were moved to a community where they were not the ones that were speaking English and the children were speaking Yoruba, and it was difficult for them. So just like you, she was victimized. You know, we're like, who are you people? You know, and all that. Oh, your boy, like that Yoruba. They say just because you can speak English.
Exactly.
So she actually went through something similar like you went through. So it's not. It's not uncommon to find things happen. And I like to say here that a lot of times, even as children, we need to understand that our parents don't have it all figured out.
Exactly.
They don't have it all figured out. They have their own challenges. You know, even though we're living our life, we're living a part of their life. Because we're currently depending on them as children right now. We're talking to you if you're listening, you're a child. You know, you are living your parents' reality. So their reality will affect you. It becomes your reality. So if your parents are having issues, definitely it will alter your life.
Exactly.
So a lot of people leave that situation worried, angry at their parents. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, I think for me, there are a lot of things, you know, that happened in the course of, you know, the first few years that made me feel I was the cause of the separation, you know, and the fact that I had to step into the shoes of an adult, you know, because quite early, because my mom had to go also. She didn't have a job, and so she had to go also doing a whole lot of different menial jobs just to make ends meet for us. And then I had to step in to take care of my siblings and all of that. So I had to mature early. And sometimes, truth be told, my mom kind of like latches out on me, you know, say some hurtful words, you know, like make me feel, oh, if I wasn't in the picture, maybe she wouldn't even have this episode. Maybe her life would have been better, you know. So at the beginning, I really hated myself. I cried a lot. I had a how would I feel, like I used to be lost in thoughts. Like I may just be sitting down, but I'm really thinking about, you know, a lot of things. Yeah, yes. As at that time, I was not in primary 5. Wow. I'll just be lost in thought and look, and I'll just like, you know, shiver and now, you know. So I was thinking so much about me being the cause of everything. If I was not in the picture, maybe the relationship would have, you know, been this and all of that. And then also the words my mom was speaking sometimes, you know, that made me feel I am not what, you know, living, or my existence is a problem as at that time. So yeah, I really felt bad. And then I actually faced a rejection, you know, a rejection from my dad, you know, which later in life I actually confronted it, because that haunted me for over 20 years of my life. It made me, you know, not want to do things, like it haunted me. So I faced him later, but as at that time, you know, we didn't have money, so that was the situation. We didn't have money, and then my mom was like, "Okay, go and speak to your dad." You know, that time it was the phone call, 20 naira or 10 naira for a minute. So I called him, and then he just like was in his own words. Then like I don't know who's speaking. I don't have any daughter. Like that was like the last 20 naira in the house. I dropped the call and I was like, "That is it for me. God is my father," and I was never going to, like, the trust of having, okay, like maybe a father I can run to just broke that minute, because I just felt like, okay, I don't have anybody responsible for.
But how old were you when you made that phone call?
I was 9.
I'm sure it's for you to reach teenager, so that was you're a big girl.
No, I was 9, and it was really in the midst of the lack. Like at that point, we were really in serious lack. Now, I would like to say that my dad actually made efforts, you know, to reconcile the relationship. Then, but you know, adults have their issues.
Yeah,
it was irreconcilable, and that is their issue. But me, as the first child, as the firstborn, I was like in the middle. Like I was feeling the heat of everything, both verbal words, both the abandonment. You know, later as an adult, thinking back, I felt that at the point where my dad, in the beginning, just shut us out. He was not shutting us out, like shutting his children out, literally. Like he was kind of like probably getting back at my mom, but it was affecting us.
Yes.
So maybe not picking our calls, not anything. So looking back now, understanding now, I feel that then it was probably just trying to get back at my mom, like, okay, I came to beg you, but you didn't answer me. Okay, then you people should just
Take care of
care of
yourself.
yourself. So, but at that time, I didn't even see it that way. I felt
Yeah.
abandoned, rejected, every negative emotion. That's what I felt. I even, now I think that if mental health was really like that,
You say you have mental health issues.
yes, I would have been categorized like a depressed child.
Yes.
All my pictures, I avoided taking pictures. Any picture you see that I was a child, I was looking depressed. I was looking depressed. I was looking beaten and battered because I was thinking a lot. I had a lot of weight on my shoulders. So yeah, I actually had that. It's emotional.
And I'm glad that you brought the fact that your father came to reconcile, and but that's a very big one. But I wanted to say, for aside for those who are watching us or listening to us, is that it is not your fault.
Yeah.
It is never your fault. When there's already another family, and you've already said that, right? So it's either your mom stayed and put up with everything for the sake of the children, like most of our mothers did.
Yeah.
And which, if you spoke to them now in their old age, you tell you that I wish that I did not sleep. Because, and all that, it's either she did that or she walked away, with her own sanity, because she might have stayed there and you might have had maybe a worse life.
I don't even know
If you felt that way.
if I felt that way, because I was trying to process these things for the first few years. Like, why
Why are we here?
why are we here? Why do we have to suffer? Because my step siblings, we are living well. So I didn't even wrap my head around, is she doing it for our benefit?
Yeah.
Is she, and of course then now we have a better parent to child relationship that when our parents tend to talk to their children, then it is, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You can't ask me why am I doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Who born you? That kind of thing. So for me, I did not understand why whatever is happening. I was just like,
Why are we here in this place?
yes, why are we? Why do we have to go through this suffering? At that time, I used to run away from my because my mom didn't pull us out
Of your school.
of her
That was
school.
my next question. Okay.
Yeah, so she didn't pull us out because she is a university graduate, so she understood, and we're going to one of the best schools then. So she didn't pull us out. Albeit, we were always sent out for school fees. We'll sit at the old school. The old students will be in their class. Only me and my sister will be under the tree, and in the sun, because we have not paid our school fees. Sometimes they will beat us. We don't have textbook. A lot of all those shameful things. Obviously she didn't pull us out. She would come and beg the headmaster, try to, keep us in school, which I really appreciate, right? But at the end of the day, for me, I was just like, why are we here?
Yeah.
And I didn't know who to ask, because it was as if there were a lot of things happening at the same time. Like I said, my grandma also was
displaced,
so
yes.
we were there. In fact, that was like our own IDP kind of, because we were just there. Everybody just trying to start from scratch. That's how it was, for me.
I'm going to ask you about what it did, what it made you, what it pulled you to do after that, to get by. But I want us to take a break so that you can actually just sink in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to breathe hard. I think I'm not going to go too deep, so that I can just allow you to just, pick up just the lessons from your story. And all that. So, just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And I'll just take a quick break.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back and you and I will talk about, what that led you into, staying in that community, what that led you into. And then what steps did you take? So we're going next phase into your teenage years, because these were where the real struggles were, and then going to how you came out of it and then what you're doing right now. That's okay.
Thank you.
If you've just joined us, we'll be talking to Aderonke Olisa. And she's sharing her story with us about how she went from having a fantastic and nice childhood with a father and a mother with their parents separated. And if you are listening to the show, or you have anyone that are separated, families are separated, or your parents are separated, and you're thinking, it's just my family. It's not peculiar to you. This is it's common. These things happen. Parents, families have issues. Things happen all over the place. But just like she got through it, living like a displaced person, even in though she was not displaced, but she came through and she came out of it. And we would hear how that happened and how you can do the same. We're getting to the emotional side where, as the result of this separation of our family, something happened to her. What happened to you?
Okay, different things happen, but I would dwell more on the one that really affected like a whole part of my life. And up till my 30th birthday, I had to actually pay for therapy.
Wow.
Yes. I actually paid for it, after discovering what childhood trauma can do to you, even as a married, like it was that I was already married then. I even had a child, and I saw. I said, "Bro, I have to. I closed down an investment. I paid the person. I was like, please, just help me. So, that's really like low self-esteem, deep low self-esteem. So it's not low self-esteem is as great to be said. And for me, the low self-esteem is not just only about the fact that we lived in poverty, where I had to hide from my peers for a long, like for years. I had to hide from it. So normally when school drops us, we had people just go to their homes. Myself and my sister would follow everybody to their houses. Then those that want to you leave it, we will just find a way and escape. We did that for years until we were caught. In fact, I can't forget the particular day where one of my colleagues traced us and I was like, is it a mad person that gave me here? I was inside, I ran, I hid back of my mom's clothes, entered under,
oh my God,
all the clothes on myself. People were like, he said it was not a mad person even here. I was weeping. I didn't cry, I wept.
And how were you when the person caught you?
Yeah, I was around 10, 11.
Or yes,
So and
this show is about to end because I can't continue. Let me get to your teenage years.
I think for my teenage years, to be sincere, I didn't come out of it, but I was beginning to own that identity. In fact, the truth is that the low self-esteem came with losing my identity, losing my personality, because remember all these things that I had gone through shaped me into a particular person that had to be responsible, that had to step up, be this, be that. So I lost myself in that situation. And so for me, even now, till now that I'm talking to you, I'm even still on the journey to uncovering who I really am. Because now looking back, I feel that this is not, I've been claiming a particular, identity or temperament or whatever. That's not me. I'm discovering that is not me. So for me, the whole thing that happened robbed me of my identity, discovering my true self, and then I had deep low self-esteem, and then lack of trust for people. Because when a child has faced so many abandonments, so many disappointments, from the people that ought to be there for her, So for me, if you tell me not now, but I mean, if you tell me the moon is black and the moon is red, I will come out, I will check it myself, I will double check it. I didn't just want to be stranded anymore. I didn't want anybody to disappoint me anymore. So I was living on the edge in life. I was living on the edge.
Friendships in school?
No, I was a lone ranger all through my secondary school. So people did not really even know what was happening back at home. So I was a brilliant student. I was always topping class, first 3 in sciences, first 3. That was it. So I masked everything that was happening with putting my focus on my book, being the top, so that people will not, know what's happening, back at home. And I succeeded because a lot of my friends, even some that hear the story, be like, how? Because they don't really know what was happening in my house. I didn't bring that energy to school. I just masked up with facing my academics. But inside, I knew that this is not me.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I was in secondary school, as the AA students, they always take you out for debate, take you out for quizzes and all of that. But I will write debate for people to present. I will not be able to present because I just had that feeling like, who am I to talk? I lived under the shadow of people. Even to university, I lived under the shadow of people. I just wanted somebody to, and there's a way this temperament thing try to make you be like, oh, you're phlegmatic. Phlegmatic people don't like to be in front, they like to be at the back. I don't know, but I feel that it's just trauma playing out for me because I don't think actually I'm a back person. But because I didn't feel worthy, I didn't feel people would want to hear me. I didn't feel there was anything important about me. There was a day I looked up to God in tears. I was like, God, why are all this? Why am I even like this? Like, why is my life like this? Why am I suffering? Why am I the epicenter of the all the troubles that is happening? My younger ones did not really even have this effect. I tell people that me and my siblings, we grew up in the same house, but we didn't have the same experience.
Yes.
They didn't at all. There's some things out there they can't relate to it because it's go and meet your father. Sometimes I will wait for 2 hours under the sun, waiting for my dad then to give us money to eat. They are at home watching TV, but as the first one, you have to be the one.
Yeah.
So I grew up with you and your own kind of mindset. And I mean, a few days ago, I wrote on LinkedIn that I'm struggling with being accountable, trying to ask for help and all, because that's how I grew up. I grew up to fend for yourself, be strong, so and that made me more masculine than feminine. It made me more masculine than feminine. I didn't really want to be that soft girl. I didn't want to be soft. I didn't even want to marry. Because
you don't want to talk about that.
So let me go back to the low self-esteem. So the low self-esteem had different shoots. It came out in different ways. Maybe not the regular conventional way, but everything just stemmed from the fact that I just felt I was no worthy.
Yeah.
There's nothing important about me, and then that played out in different parts of my life.
But that didn't affect your grades.
No. It didn't affect my grade. Thankfully, so. Thankfully, so. It didn't affect my grade. But when I was in SS3, I wanted to become a rebel. Because I wanted to prove. There was something like I wanted to prove, like I let them know that I exist, like I can, when I'm a bad girl, the people would respect them. I would feel yes, so I tried on my best. Some
of us are good people naturally.
It didn't work. When you have your sister, really go. I was in the hostel. They'll tell me social night. I will be wanting to they'll say go to the hostel.
All of us were the social prefects. Let's keep it low.
They'll say go to the hostel. No, they are not part of this. Go. I don't want to spoil our plan. And I know when I go to Uniben. So I wanted to go to Uniben not because of anything, but because I heard that Uniben they are that also doing. When you enter, you be sharp babe. And
you're gonna
2 years I was going to Uniben. My mom till today did not know where Uniben is because she just gave me transport. I said, you want to go to Uniben? They said they are entering transport. They go. And that was it. For 2 years I was not going to Uniben. I was 15, 16 years. My mom would just give me money. I would just go. I would meet my friends and all of that. He didn't shower. God is faithful. He didn't work. At the end of the day, I can't person didn't like. Yes, God met me.
It's called first choice.
Yes, God met me, and I think that was where my life started making a meaning.
Yes.
That's when I was able to start putting the two and two together
Oh wow, this is that. Thank you so much for that's just a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. I know that I'm going to take it to the final phase. How you came out of all this. But thank you for being very honest with us. So if you are listening, I hope that it's inspired you. We're going to go on a short break and get the final one before we close the show, so that we can allow our guests to at least just take a breath again. It's not easy to relive your past. See, it's not easy. It's not easy to relive. It's not at all. The first episode of this show, I shared about what I went through, and trust me, you don't want to go down memory lane. Sometimes, it has to bring a burning sensation in your heart, and you're feeling like you want to start to cry, and then you don't remember that, see, I've gone past this already, and all that. You've come from being displaced, and having to feeling abandoned by your father. So many people, I'm sure that you can identify with that, and all that. And it's a lot, and so I know that because I work with people who are displaced, so I can tell you that it is actually a lot to feel like, this is my home. I mean, Nigeria, I feel like a refugee in my own home for many reasons. But kudos to your mom who stayed through and left you in school even though you struggled. And thanks to all those teachers who actually gave you some grace and did not really let you go home. They let you on at least you felt like you were still in school. Some schools they'll send you outside completely. And I'm saying this not to digress, but I know it's school, and I think that schools can do better, that sent a boy and his sister out of school, and then the boy on their way home had an accident. And so you can do better. You keep the children in school until their parents come for them. So when you mentioned that, the story came to me and it really just brought back memories when I was in Lagos, and this happened. It was in the news. It was really big, and I don't know if the school was shut down at the time, but I think that it should have been shut down because parents didn't pay school fees. You can't just send children home in primary school to just go home on their own, even though they came back on their own. You shouldn't send them off on their own. It's not their fault. So even schools that beat children for not having school books, textbooks, and all those things, I think we should stop this thing. Yeah. It is unfair. Really, it's really unfair. I think that I can say it's very important that I put this in. Anybody can be listening to it, and all that. So, but thank God that your mom stayed through, try to ensure that you and your siblings had the education that you had, because education is very, very critical. Yeah. One of our goals with the show is to ensure that we inspire girls to stay in school. To say, as much as you can always get a second chance to go back to school. Our guest a couple of weeks ago mentioned how she didn't graduate with her first degree, did a course, because after 10 years, she just said, let me just do a course and leave. And we learned from her lesson, but then when she was growing her career, they told her, we can't promote you without a degree. She went back to do part-time to get a degree, and it's not something she wanted to do. So our encouragement is, parents, if you can, focus on your education of your children, and especially young girls are our target of our show. Please, as much as you can. If you can stay in school, please stay in school and finish up. No matter the barrier, like we had last year of Jennifer, who got pregnant, but they still went back and finished her school. So please, you can also. Yeah, so tell us, how did you come out of all these?
How am I coming out? I'm not out yet. Okay. I'm not out. I'm coming out. Like, this thing, as an adult now, looking back, and having the opportunity to be in some rooms, hear some things, it's like an onion that the shells are coming out layer by layer. So for me, I am coming out, but I am not where I used to be.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like I said, going to Unilag was divinely orchestrated, and that was where it all started from. I would say my faith played a huge part, in it, and that was even the beginning of everything, because having to understand purpose, having to understand that your experiences shape are part of things that shape your purpose, that points you like a GPS to what you are meant to do in life. And so for me, the long age question I've been asking God when I was younger, why are these things happening to me? It now started making sense. And then I now, started meeting people that had stories similar to mine, but I have been strengthened, and then I began to, be a source of encouragement to them. Yeah. So for me, my faith played a huge part. Then, personally, I started to do a lot of journaling.
Journaling, listening, faith, journaling,
journaling, and then to the essence of the journaling was to reflect backward and then to think forward. So I do a lot of reflection, try to write down things that have happened, and try to put sense into it. Okay, this happened, this also happened. Try to put two and two together just to match up, to kind of find a part and a sense in how my life was turning out, and to give a direction to what the future looks like for me. So I did a lot of journaling. While on campus. I did a lot of reflection exercises and wrote things down. And then the third thing that I think that I did that helped me was to face my fears. So for me, I was very scared of getting married. I was scared of everything married because I had suffered so much. I know because of the time of the show, I couldn't talk about the nitty gritty of the rawness of the suffering, really. But I suffered so much, and I saw my mom suffer so much that I was just like, I gotta make it. I wanna be a billionaire. That was just the thing on my mind. I didn't worry about man. Man was never in anything I wanted to, because I was just like, I wanted to make money, to first of all take care of my mom, to first of all, alleviate us from poverty. I just had this be a billionaire and show and prove. That was just all was in my mind. But I had to, sit back again, back to my faith journey. I can't really say much without tying into it, but I had to sit down. I faced the fact that, okay, this is what happened. If I had to call my dad, and because at this time, while during the course of the years, my dad later came into our lives. We never lived together since the day we moved out. We never lived together under the same roof. My dad did. But he now stepped into our lives, started fulfilling his responsibilities, as much as he could, even till date, but I had to now sit with him to hear his own side of the story, which is what happened. I wanted to get a clear picture.
You needed that clarity.
I needed closure. Closure to a lot of things, because I as I was growing and having exposing myself to a lot of messages to heal, to become a better person, because I knew I was a broken person. I knew I was broken. In fact, I entered different relationships that really exposed the level of brokenness. So I knew that I can't continue like this. There's this saying that a broken person will keep on breaking others. Keep on breaking others. So I didn't want to be that person. So I needed to heal. I needed to be whole, to be able to give myself wholly to others and to the world, right? So I needed disclosure. I had that meeting with my dad, so I got some clarity. I was able to put what my mom said to me, what my dad said. Okay, I found my own middle ground, and I knew how to deal with each of them. And then I had to tell myself what were the mistakes my mom made, because my mom had a lot of regrets, that she talked about. So I had to sit down and say, okay, if I don't want to follow this same circle, if I don't want this circle to repeat itself, because I believe that if as a child, as an individual, you see something happening in your lineage and you don't want it to repeat itself, you have to be conscious, and you have to make intentional effort to stop it, stop that thing. So for me, I had to sit down, like, okay, what did my mom do wrong? What are the things she did? Okay, I knew she got married early, 20. I was like, 20. You don't know yourself before you even step. I told myself, that's very instance, I'm not going to get married. I'll get married later. Academics, she didn't do a master's. She struggled to, do masters and all of that. She couldn't concentrate well in school because she was having kids and all of that. I said no. I was going to finish my masters. The least degree I would have before I get married was masters.
I hope you are listening.
And I achieved. I made sure I achieved that, and I did that with distinction. And I also told myself, this is what I'm going to do. This is how far I'll go in my career before I listed out a lot of things that
You learned from
like
them.
yes. So like I was intentionally
Yeah.
countering the life my mom lived because I wanted to lead a different life and I wanted a better outcome for my life. So I did that and it really worked. It really worked. It really worked for me. And then I think finally what I did and I'm still doing, I'm still on the journey, is going for a therapy.
They said therapy is not it. Right. Therapy is not a crap.
It's not seriously. I going for me to heal from childhood trauma because now as a parent, I see that I saw when I had my first child that there was something I did to him and it brought back the memory of this is my mom used to be. I said, but I thought I told myself I was never going to be like that. I said, no, there is something wrong here. First, I need to open up this can of worms.
Empty everything up. Wash the can off.
Exactly. In fact, throw it away, self. And then now build the me that I want to be present in my marriage, in the life of my children. And so that's the journey that I am currently.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow, I hope that you've learned a lot. We have 3 minutes left, but in that 3 minutes, I want you to tell us what you are doing now for others, especially for young girls, women and girls. What are you doing with your life right now?
Okay, so right now, I'm also paying it forward. I'm mentoring young girls, young ladies, who are in similar situations or even just trying to figure out, like, I'm helping them on their purpose discovery journey. I'm mentoring them on how to live their best life, how to show up authentically, how to heal from childhood trauma and, be their best self so that they can live their best life. And also, of course, in the non-profit space, empowering girls to go to school and to live a life of dignity, because it really, really matters, especially when you are trying to live a life that's better than that of your parents. Yeah. Education is important. Being purposeful, being intentional about how you live your life is very important. And this is what I help girls and young women to do.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's just a breath of fresh air. It's good to at least come to it so we can all smile. I know we've been smiling through the show, but you hear there's so many lessons to take from this, from the fact that if you are a young person and your parents are separated, that's not the end of your life. Mm-hmm. You can come from a single parent household and still make something good out of your life. Mm-hmm. People have come from no parent household and they've made a lot out of their life. I'm one, so really there are so many people that actually have had only fathers, some is only mothers, some is even grandma. We had our first guest we grew up with her grandma most of her life and turned out to be good. So great, you know her, she's one of your friends. So if you're listening and we are watching us and you are in that situation, know that your life can still count. Your life still counts for something. Mm-hmm. And the work that we do at the Passion Foundation, we always tell the adults and girls that we work with in every community that we go to, like where you are it's not the end. Mm-hmm. It's just the beginning, really. Yeah. And where you are, that should not determine where you are going to. In fact, it should fuel you to be a better place. Mm-hmm. And I spoke on Sunday at a meeting when I was sharing that you have to be uncomfortable with where you are. And I'm glad that you said you were uncomfortable and said, see, I'm not going to do, I need to make money. Yeah. I need to make something out of my life so that I can have a better life. Yeah. It's great. So if you are in that position, please, start packing your bags. Like I said on Sunday, start packing your bags. Start feeling uncomfortable with that environment that you're living with. So even if you have a child out of wedlock, whatever it is, even if you've gone through different relationships because of this brokenness, whatever it is that's happened to you as a result of this brokenness, you can become whole again. Yeah. Aderonke is still on her journey. She's still becoming. Yeah. She agrees here clearly that she's not there yet. Yes. But there's some areas of her life that she's no longer living in that Bacha. Yeah. That one is already accomplished. Yes. And I didn't even find house. So guess what? I didn't house for 5 children. So there are parts of our life that chapters that are already closed because they are done. Yeah. Some parts of your life that look like it's not happening right now will close eventually one day. It will get better one day, If only you can just not give up. Please do not just give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Everything that you are trying to do, everything you are putting your heart to do, just keep at it.